Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. You are watching From Nisha's View, and it is Photography Talk with Nisha. And on this channel we talk about all things photography related. So today we're going to go behind the scenes of a branding photo shoot that I had with a local company here in the Atlanta area, and she has a plant shop. Yes, plants. If you love plants, then definitely check her out. I'll put her information up on the screen. And yeah, we're going to get into the gear that I took with me, what I packed in my bag before the shoot. So stay tuned and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so I love to give you tips and tricks on what to look for, what to watch out for, and all that kind of stuff for my channel and my videos. So today is not going to be any different. Okay, so I'm going to give you the 3 things that I took with me on the set. For the session, I took, my favorite lens. Of course, you probably guessed what it is. And then we're going to talk about other equipment that I took with me as far as the lighting goes for the space. And then, of course, I'm going to share with you my settings and the final images. So let's get into it. All right, so first up, what I usually like to do is get my equipment together the night before, or the day before, the night before, or at least 2 days prior to the session, because it just gives you enough time to make sure that your equipment is working properly, your batteries are charged, your lights are working if you're taking lights with you, just making sure that everything is together and you're ready to go. Okay, so the night before, this is what I usually do. And here I am going to be taking the constant light with me because I'm doing more of products. So the plants, and then she has other products that she sells in the store. So I want to make sure that lighting that I take is not too much. So this is a portable light. So you can also, I have other batteries that I can take with me and use those batteries with this particular light. So that is a good thing, that is portable and you don't have to plug it in, even though it has the cord to plug it in for power. I needed just something quick and portable and not necessarily take my strobe. Constant to me would be a better fit for this particular session. So I love me a 35 and I love me a 85. And those are the 2 things, the 2 lenses that I took with me. Number 1, the reason why I took the 35 is because it gives more of an environmental type of feel in your photos. So you will get a lot more in your shot. You will tell the story, and I wanted to tell the story because of how I was going to be shooting her during the session, in her, in her environment, doing the things that she normally does with the plants, working with the soil, repotting plants and doing those things. And I think the 35 was a better choice for capturing that. I took the 85 because this particular 85 has macro capabilities. So I knew I wanted to get up close and personal with the plants and to show their leaves and to just show that detail, get in there and get that detailed picture as much as I could. And also the bokeh on this 85. The bokeh on this 85 is crazy, okay? It is absolutely insane. So I knew that how I wanted to capture some of the pictures and some of the plants, it was going to be crazy. So when I first get to the location, I like to look around. I like to see what kind of lighting is in the space. I like to see and talk to her a little bit more about what kind of shot she's getting, what plants she wants me to take the pictures of. So here I'm just surveying the room, okay, just to see what I'm looking at, what I'm working with. So I put the settings up on the screen of what each picture, each still is. She has this little nook, this little reading nook, because she does books She sells books as well, and she also has a book club that meets there monthly. I wanted to get a feel of the place, and I wanted that to be shown in the pictures. Okay, now don't ask me what these plants are, because I couldn't tell you. I could not tell. You gotta go to her. You gotta go to her. She's very knowledgeable about these plants. So if you're looking for some house plants, definitely check them out. They're in Smyrna, Georgia. Okay, and again here I was just showing her, you know, what the images were looking like, because I was getting her in the shot in the reading corner so that she could use these pictures on her website when she's advertising for, you know, her book club. She could use these pictures for that. She could use the video for that, because I've seen her video as well. I definitely suggest you get a lot of options for them to use their portraits with. You want to make sure that you're giving them enough pictures so that they could use that in a long, you know, for a long term until it's time to redo your pictures. So that's what I was doing there. And I used the 85 millimeter for this one as well. Now let's talk about my settings. The settings that I used, because I didn't want to take a lot of light with me, and we were getting some light in the studio, in the shop, in the plant shop. I still chose to go up on the ISO because I wanted to bring in a lot more light, and I wanted to keep my f-stop very low. As you can see, my f-stop was around 2.2 to 2.8 with these shots. With all of the shots that I did, I wanted to keep it in the 2s. I wanted more light in, but I also wanted that blurriness in the back. I wanted to blur out some of the things because the focus was on the plant. So I wanted the focus to be on a particular plant because she was running specials with particular plants, and I didn't want anything else in the shot to compete with that one particular item. So for me, in order to keep that, my logic in my mind, to keep that, you know, focus on that one particular thing, I needed to keep the f-stop fairly low to blur out that background. Okay, so that meant that I either had to change my ISO or change my shutter speed. Now my shutter speed was at 1/100. I was good with that. I wasn't doing anything with action, so it wasn't, you know, the shutter speed wasn't really that important because I wasn't doing a lot of action stuff in, you know, in her shot. She wasn't doing a lot of moving to freeze it, so that I could keep it fairly, you know, 100 to 200. I think I kept these at 100. So 100 to 200 I was good with. But then that meant that I needed to go up on my ISO. And I was fine with that. I was good with that because nowadays with these cameras, you can push your ISO and still get good detail in your shot. And I think I did 640 ISO on all of these. So, and you really cannot tell that it was up at 640. You really can't. And that's with me even doing, you know, photo editing, pushing up my highlights and, you know, just doing a little bit of editing and, you know, messing with the exposure a little bit. But that's the reason why I chose those particular settings, because I wanted to keep that blurriness and create that bokeh in my pictures. Now for the video part, my husband does the video, but we normally I usually try to do 1/60 for the shutter speed, and I think it's 800. I have to look, I can't remember, but I think it was about 700 or 800 for the ISO, and I think it was at 1.8 for the f-stop. So with video, your frames per second, you usually are doing like 24 frames per second or 60 frames per second. I think there's a 120. Don't get me, look, this is photography, not video. They are different. So for the video, my shutter speed usually is double your frame per second. So if you're doing, if your frames per second is 30, which is what I usually shoot, you know, shoot at, then my shutter speed need to be at least 160. So 1/60. So that's what the video is. Now, like I said, this works for me for video. I'm not a videographer. So if you're a videographer watching this, I'm sorry. Okay? Okay, I know sometimes we be competing with each other, but I'm not a videographer. I'm a photographer. And there's some differences there. So I just wanted to say what works for me, that's what works for me. I just want to get her in action, and I want to make sure that, you know, I'm getting enough content for her to have for her website, for whatever she needs to use it for. So that's what we're doing here. And also, I like to show my clients while we're in the moment, while we're working. I like to show them the photos because it gives them a little boost of, oh, okay, that's cute. Okay, let's do that again. Let's do, you know, it reinforces their confidence and mine too, because I like, you know, for you to say, oh yeah, that's cute, you know what I mean? That is really all that I wanted to show and share with you guys today. And of course, if you made it this far, thank you. Hit that subscribe button, hit the comments, let me know in the comments, you know, if you do branding work and your settings and, you know, your lens, your camera gear, all that good stuff. What do you use? You know, if you have any other suggestions, definitely tell me in the comments, okay? And then, of course, like and share. And until next time, I'll talk to you then.
Thanks for watching my GG channel. Period.